So we're here today. I contacted the Silver State Kennel Club again to ask them if they would consider donating some more pet masks. We started this, I don't have the exact date, I tried to go back and find when the first time was, but I think it was, I want to say 2006, somewhere around there. They asked us if we wanted to do it, and we accepted, I think, 6 masks, and we put them on the rigs, and we went out there. It was something new for pets, and we tried it on a couple of calls. I think our first call was a cat, and I got some pictures of that, and we revived. The cat was completely black from soot. They found it in a house, and the paramedics brought it back, and it, all of a sudden, everybody in the department was really interested. Back about that time, we had an EMS nurse that actually taught CPR to the crews. We rotated them through real quick, and we showed them how to apply the mask properly and how to do CPR and stimulate animals' neck. Come on in. And it grabbed acceptance then. I think this is our 4th donation from you, if I'm not mistaken. So I contacted them again because we have added several more engines, and the crews use them. They go for them now. When they find an animal in the house and it appears it can be revived, regardless of what it is, they use the mask. So like for a small bird, they will take the mask and put the bird in there and just cover up the hole here. And we've had successes with this. We've done it with snakes. We've done it with all kinds of animals. And it's worked really well. And when I mean that these animals were, they were motionless. For all appearances, they were dead when we found them. And we were able to take them back. In one case, we let the owner take the mask with them with an oxygen bottle to the vet, where the vet could take over so that dog would have uninterrupted oxygen supply. And we believe that that dog also made it. So I contacted them again this summer, and they're making a generous donation of 10 kits. And I'm going to introduce Sandy and Ginger from the Silver State Kennel Club. I'll let them come up and introduce themselves properly and what they do, and tell you a little bit about the club. And they really done us some good this time. They've given us a complete kit that'll be put on 10 different units, and I'll have them come up and explain why they're doing this with Las Vegas Fire and Rescue again. So come on up.
And we're very happy that we're able to give this valuable contribution to help save the lives of our beloved animals who are suffering effects of fire and smoke. And our main objective for our Kennel Club is to hold shows and to educate the public. And at our shows, we offer junior handling scholarships, and we finance the Canine Giving Fund, which offers us the ability to help local and nationwide dog-related causes. And it's our pleasure to be able to help Las Vegas Fire and Rescue and all of the local fire and rescue organizations.
Throughout the course of Silver State Kennel Club establishing the Canine Giving Fund, we have donated to various organizations, the Henderson Fire Department. We've done Metro Police Department. We gave them funds to buy ballistic shields, the ones that the dog and the officer can hide behind. I think it was 4 ballistic shields. We gave them funds to buy that. And then Henderson Fire Department they wanted to have the Casper dog so they could teach CPR. They have 2 of those, and then they received money to buy, I think, 40 sets of the masks. So they're going to actually do CPR training train the trainer here at the City of Las Vegas and other fire entities. What else? Oh, and we also donated to Shade Tree Shelter. They had in their area, you know, when women are abused and the children, they wouldn't leave because of their pets, and there was a shelter set up there. So and they needed funds, so we donated. They were our first recipient of the Canine Giving Fund. They came down to where we had our meeting, and we donated money for them. So it's been really wonderful. We do this once a year. When our funds are available and our show is successful, then we have funds to do this.
Okay, so this is the kit. I actually haven't seen it myself because we usually just got masks in a plastic bag, so I'm getting to see it for the first time myself. And we've got 10 of these. It's in a nice bag, which is nice.
And there's 3 different sizes in this kit.
So they're in a plastic bag so they can use it. We keep it clean, because while it's in the apparatus, we don't want it getting dirty. And it looks like this here. And there's different sizes because there's different dogs. And one of the most important things for when you're delivering oxygen to a patient to make sure that the mask fits properly. So we will hook it up to a bottle of oxygen just like we would a human patient. We would, what's that?
Near the mics.
And we would hook this up to the oxygen bottle and supply them with oxygen, which would revive the cells in there, and we would try to stimulate them. And in some cases, it's been several years since we've done the CPR training, so what they're saying is that Henderson got the 2 Casper dogs, and they're gonna do a train-the-trainer program where we would send people there that would learn how to teach animal CPR, and we'll come back and we'll teach it to our personnel so they know how to do it. But you know, we treat these animals just like any other family member. When we go to a fire call, we really try hard to find animals, and just like humans, but even more, they're scared. We always ask where their usual hiding place is, so if there's fireworks or a storm or something, where do they usually go to hide, or where's their favorite place to go so their master wants to meet them. It's usually under the bed. Sometimes they're semi-conscious, they're not very cooperative, they bite when you try to get to them, and then once we get them outside, we usually try to get the master there, or the owner, to hold the dog so the dog can pick up the scent and know that they feel a little bit more secure knowing that they're with somebody that they're familiar with while we're applying this oxygen. And like on the dog here, I don't want to wreck your mask, but we would just take it and just put it over, and then they're usually just stimulating the dogs. And like I said, I'll pass the links out, and we've got some actual calls where you can see where they actually brought the dog back with it. So it works really well. We can do the bag mask on it, or we can use the resuscitator that we got on the unit. Usually it's just a straight flow of oxygen going in there, just getting that oxygen. We only breathe 21% oxygen in the atmosphere, but we're delivering a high concentration way up there, which will help to stimulate those cells. Okay? Any questions?
Tim, how long did you say that Las Vegas Fire and Rescue's been using these kits?
I believe, I went back and I tried to find a press release, and I couldn't find it, but I believe it was around 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. So it's been better than 10 years.
Do most of the trucks have this equipment on them?
No, we don't have them on every rig. In the very beginning, we stuck them on certain rigs, so we knew that at least one of those rigs would show up at a fire. And now we probably got maybe a third of the trucks. We send 5 trucks to a fire. So at least 1 or 2 of those trucks are gonna have the mask on it. It's usually on the engine because they're the first ones that get to the fire. Not necessarily the ambulance, but the fire truck's gonna show up at a fire.
And then you said you've had success. You've been able to save some of the animals.
Yeah, and it's like I said, when you watch the video, it's just really amazing to watch the paramedics. They treat that animal just like a human being. Everybody gathers around and they're stimulating and they're talking, and the paramedics are down there working on it. And we know that is just as important as if it was another family member, a baby or a wife or something like that. these people, you know, they treat their animals like they are a family member. And it's something really, really important to them, and they're devastated if they pass. So we do our best to get in there, and when we do a life search, or what we call a primary search, when we first get on the scene, the teams go in to attack the fire, but they go in to do what we call a primary search, and they just scan. And you gotta remember that the room is completely filled with smoke. They're lucky if they can see their hand in front of their face. We have thermal imagers that will point out things, but usually at the very beginning when we're doing the initial attack, we don't have that set up. And if we have animals that are right there and we know the places to look, we bring them out right away, and we'll say we're bringing an animal out, and the paramedics will get the gear out and they will start. We always have a fire medical division set up, we call it, where they're ready to receive victims, and they have all their equipment out, and if it's an animal, they'll pull out the pet mask and they'll work on that pet just like they do a human being. We didn't use the pet mask, but we recently just had a call where 2 dogs were completely swarmed by a bunch of bees. They were just completely covered. And we worked on those dogs, and we escorted the owner to the veterinarian, which was just down the street. There was one, and we kind of like crashed in and says, we got an emergency here, and the vet stopped what he was doing and worked on the dogs, but unfortunately they had to be put down because they were too far along. But that's how much the crew was involved in it. They says there's a vet right down the street, and they says let's go down there and see if he can help out, get some Benadryl or something in there and prevent the swelling. And we're dedicated to those animals just as much as we are human beings.
So when do they get distributed and who gets them?
You know, I'm going to leave this to logistics, which is I don't know which units have them on there, but they'll probably go on more of the fire rigs. I just know that they came to me and says, hey, you got a good relationship with Silver State, and we wonder if you could ask them for, you know, a few more kids. So I think they were talking like 3 or 4. I don't like to push people to the limit, but I says, I'll just throw out 10 and see what they say, and they took it, which is great, which means we got 10 more chances out there to save lives with it. And I think we probably, the last one was 6, and I think we got 6. I think we probably got about 25 out there on the streets out there right now, 25 or 30. Any other questions? I just want to say I really thank you for helping us out on this. This is just something that was new to us. A lot of times before we had this, we couldn't do it. We didn't know what to do. We didn't have the equipment to do it or anything, and we felt kind of hopeless, helpless, not being able to do anything for these animals. So now it gives the people some hope, and we are more successful than we are not successful when we use the mask. And that just really, the family's going to go through a lot with the fire as it is. I went through a house fire myself, and I know it's extremely emotional, and they're really headed into bad times. But if their animal dies, it's even worse. But if I had 2 dogs that were in the house, and when I got to the house when it was on fire, I saw our 2 dogs in the backyard, and the neighbor says, your 2 cats jumped over the wall like a bullet. And we just says, we don't care about the house anymore. We know our 4 pets are out of the house, and we're fine with that. Nobody's going to get hurt. And you just have a sense of relief knowing your animals are okay, even if it's the little ones. You know, people are always asking, did my gerbil make it? Did my snake make it? Did my fish make it? We do everything that we can to make sure that those animals make it, because that family needs that support after the fire. And we really appreciate your support.
We're glad to do it. We're really happy to do this.
Well, thank you.
Glad you contacted us.
Yeah.